Welcome to another episode of Fuck Your Job. I'm Ron Worley.
And I'm Josh Fullenweider.
Fuck your job.
What about this for an idea? We find a high school that actually turns revenue in the market. So let's say they build, like their welding department is actually working for a company building things or cutting metal or whatever.
Well, on top of that, you figure charter schools and public schools both get the same dollar amount from the state to teach a kid. Now, charter schools, they don't have to have all the programs, so there is some cost savings there, but the charter schools also have to pay for their own building, where the public schools get a bond and build a building. It's separate dollars amounts. So take the AFI model, where you essentially say, or the charter school model, or whatever we want to say, saying we're going to dedicate $100 a day to teaching this kid. Mm-hmm. Okay, now you've got a charter school. Now you add in the apprenticeship program where they're fixing cars and welding and things like that, and turn around and selling those products and providing those products to the market. You could actually generate money, which I think a good chunk of that should go back to the kids or the improvement of the programs or somehow.
There's no reason why they can't go to work, and because that's where I'm getting at is a lot of these kids that go to public school they need public school because that's how they eat, that's how they survive. So when you're in that element and you've got to go home and work in order to put food on the table too. Mm-hmm. So it would really clean up a lot of that reason for public schools to exist. Like, so you still offer those programs, but now you're earning your way through and you're getting a couple bucks an hour. Instead of having to go out and get a job, you're now at school learning, getting a job. Little Aaron is a classic example of a kid that flat out, he had everything, like he had all the advantages. He didn't have to worry about eating or anything, but he would have been perfect for that kind of environment because he absolutely was going to work for a living. It didn't matter. School was not going to be an option for him. So why not get out there and start that, that process of this is how I earn. Plus imagine what the kids are learning from that. I'm earning $1 instead of stealing $1.
Right.
And in our alternative schools, a lot of those kids get out and start committing crimes because they don't have any money.
They don't have money, and the harder part about it is everybody says, this is what you do once you graduate, you get a job, but it's not like that because a lot of them don't have any of those skills. They don't have the work skills. They don't have the understanding that I can't just tell my boss off when I'm pissed off because that's what I do to my teachers. They don't understand that I have to get something completed. And that would be great to be able to make a drive of kids saying, this is just the reality of the situation. When you complete this project, you get this amount of money. Maybe you don't get it by hour. Maybe we're not going to pay you hourly because you got to learn that you have to get the job done. Because I struggle with that with my kids sometimes. Because I'm like, why would somebody pay you per hour? Yeah. Look how fast I'm working at the food bank and look how fast you're working at the food bank. I'm older than you. Yeah. Just like 1 or 2 years, but I'm older than you. But that's what I tell them. Just like, I'm an old fat lady. Come on. You're a young little guy. You should be able to run circles around me. Why would I tell somebody to hire you?
Right.
I wouldn't.
Well, and I think the added stress of it is that kids that are struggling and do need to earn money for food or whatever reason, they're working around their school, but just the amount that they have to work and do school, everything is ridiculous. I remember when I was in high school started at 7:30 every morning. There were multiple occasions when I was still working until 11 o'clock at night, and I only worked maybe 2 days during the week, and mostly on the weekends, but I'd work and I didn't work a lot because I, again, had every advantage, but when I was working, 11 o'clock at night was common. There was a few midnights. Yeah. Get home at, and to bed by midnight 30 and then turn around and get back up at 7:30, 6 to get ready and go to school and be there at 7:30. So, and I didn't need to, my parents could have, but I wanted the money and I didn't mind working.
Your drive.
So.
Well, and on top of that, they say the best way to reduce your dropout rates is to have kids involved in school.
Yeah.
Well, when they can't do extracurricular because they have to work. Like I had a kid at Valley, great kid, hard in school, like just really struggled in school. Hispanic family. Mom didn't work, couldn't work, never had any work kind of skills.
Mm-hmm.
Dad broke his arm, couldn't work. He was the breadwinner
Right.
for him and his 6 brothers and sisters and his mom and his dad
Yep.
for 2 semesters. And then the school came in and he worked his ass off to pass this English class. He was failing like 6 classes. Worked his butt off. He was like, give me one I can pass. Let's just focus on one at a time. His ass off to get his English class passed. Passed it. Failed too many classes. They failed him on his English. I was like, what did you just teach him?
Yeah.
He worked his butt off to try to get one thing successful in his life at school.
Yep.
And you just told him it doesn't matter. And I'm like, he worked for it.
So
He worked hard.
America's the land of thinking about the small percentage, the people with the most, like the small amount of people, the small population. Everybody panders to the small population. The situation we're all describing is a very small percentage of the actual kids in school. Like, it's a very small percentage that gets free breakfast. But everybody wants to pander to that. And I feel like an alternative high school, an alternative program, not even high school, like a way we bring kids up through school where it's work motivated, it's goal motivated, not
It's not
school.
alternative, it's option.
Right. This is the program you're taking. You can still go play football with your friends after school at the public school or the charter school. They all come together, but still, that sort of program would keep the kids engaged.
Yeah.
And now we're not pandering to the lowest, because now you got my kid who grew up in a mansion and then the other kid that grew up in a trailer. They're still in a program, and it's not demeaning to them.
That was the hardest
Wow.
thing that we struggled with in Greeley, and that's why I told Josh, I was like, I don't want Ashla to, I mean, there are a couple of good schools in Greeley, but I was like, overall, they're not great.
Right.
And I don't want to have those conversations, and I hate that she's in advanced classes, but the advanced classes, I mean, and not that I wanted to push Ashla like super hard by any means, but like the advanced classes are still catered to the lowest.
Right.
And I'm like, why? And
Right.
if you want unity, fine. This is Eaton Trade School. This is Eaton Academic School. This is Eaton, what the fuck you're doing with your life school. Like, like these are the 3 school options in your area.
Yep.
And here's their sports complex.
Yep.
And then everybody gets bused there or moves there or goes there or whatever for after school activities and
Yep.
sports and
Agreed.
school assemblies or whatever. Just have 3 different, kind of like a college campus,
Yeah.
I guess, so the problem with our system right now is we're trying to get all the students through a system that was not designed to pass all the students.
Right.
So the original plan for the education system as it was designed, hundreds of 100 years ago or whatever, was that it actually needed to fail a third of the population so that that third would go work farms and factory jobs that nobody else wanted to work. Back then it was mostly farms.
It's smart.
So they would deliberately design it to fail a third of the population that was not good at schoolwork but was very good with their hands.
Right.
And they would go work jobs because they weren't in school because they failed out.
They'd go to work and go to the military and go fight our wars.
But the system was not designed to pass 100% of people, and
Right.
now we're trying to force it to pass 100% of people.
Well, that's because that's where the funding comes from. Other than that, Greeley would probably be, maybe not just Greeley, but a lot of my schools would probably be 50-50.
Yeah.
You'd be like 50 kids drop out after middle school because that's the population that we Fort Morgan.
And that's the values too. I mean, and it's not wrong. Their values are, in order to get ahead or get anywhere in life, I'm going to need to work.
Right.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but we devalue it.
Yeah,
By saying
the rest
you
of
failed,
the
dropped out of high school, you failed high school.
exactly.
Right.
The rest of the society says you're a failure when it's not. You've made a different life choice.
So it's interesting because when I graduated high school, I thought I was off to college, and I was. I went off and blew it. Couldn't make it happen. Didn't graduate. When I went off to college, I thought I was on top of the world, and when I failed college, I felt like a real piece of crap. And when I pushed my kids to go there, when Peyton didn't make it the first year, the first kid I had that was like, I'm not going to college. I felt like a loser.
Right, because that's what society tells you.
Right, but now when little Aaron's telling me he's not going to college, I'm like, it's all good. You don't need it. Like now I don't feel bad about anybody not going to college. Like
right.
It was a societal influence.
Well, now you've seen Brendan go through college,
and it's worthless.
And you're like, you have to take golf. Like that's a class you have to take to get a degree in accounting.
Right. It's just
well-rounded.
Yeah.
No, I always thought that was stupid. I had to take an art history class. Like, I hate art.
Right.
Music.
It all looks the same.
It's a money grab.
Music appreciation was stupid.
Yeah.
I had art appreciation.
Yeah.
And some things I understand.
Well, you're an artist now, so I guess that paid off.
I learned a lot from that class. That's how
I took music appreciation and I drive around with my radio turned on.
Yeah.
But no, it's turned into we're making well-rounded people. I'm like, no, you're not. You're making money.
Right. It's a big
That's
money
what
grab.
you're
It's
doing.
all
You're
about the
making
money.
you know?
Yeah.
And they like the trades programs that they have at Ames, even where you're not getting your actual degree, you're just getting your certificates. They devalue that. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Mechanics don't care if you can ace the classes that you're required to take. They don't care if you take English 101.
Right.
English 101 doesn't help you write in orders better for what people need for repairs. You know, college level math doesn't help you be a mechanic.
Right.
You know, college level doesn't. I know I took a lot of classes. It doesn't help you with mechanical stuff.
Right.
No, you just need pretty much basic algebra skills. Now, if you're going to go be like a new designer for a car, yeah, probably. You're
Need some
probably
engineering
gonna
skill.
kind of
Yeah.
low math.
Yeah.
But again, we devalue it. We're like, oh, you're just getting your certificate.
Right.
And I'm like, sometimes they work harder on those certificates than I feel like I worked getting my bachelor's. So.
Well, and I think the real value is they can go to school for 6 months to 2 years and get a certificate of some sorts in a program and save massive amounts of money by not going to college.
Yeah.
And go get a job that is in high demand that pays really good.
Yeah.
Like especially some of the welding certificates, welders get paid can make really good money.
Dude,
It starts off pretty well.
Aaron's making $1,600 a month off, and I know it's not a lot
Is
of
he
ton of
working
money.
full time?
Yeah, he's 40 hours a week.
Okay, that's decent.
Yeah, it's not like
Well, he has
great
no-
money, but he
He
just
has no education. It's great money.
no education. He's
Which isn't a
freaking
bad thing.
3 months out of high school. I mean,
He's not burdened by debt.
right.
So-
Bingo. He has no debt.
So he's got his, now I guess now he pays rent.
Yeah. So he just did his bills for me. He's got $600 a month in bills. So after taxes, he's got $600 a month for himself.
So $600 left after everything?
That's $1,200. Yeah, about that.
About 600 for food, entertainment.
Right.
Okay.
And he's like, well, I'm going to have to stop eating out because it's getting expensive. Huh.
Good
That's
decision.
Truth. Not
Good
like,
decision.
I don't feel sorry for you. That's truth, right? We all have to do that. So
Well, and I know you really wanted him to go through the Ames mechanical program, but he can go back to it if he chooses.
So and that's what he was telling me yesterday. So do you think if I switched over to performance, I would need college? Can you ask? And I'm like, and he's like, so it's like
he's getting there.
yeah, he's already hit the wall.
A lot of places like that will support and work around that. If
These
they
guys
say,
totally will.
"Hey," yeah, and then if he just says, hey, I want to take some classes, what do you think I should take? Because
Right.
I want to become better. This is the class schedule. What can you work around and get into it? And Ames mechanic programs, it's phenomenal. It really is. It's a very, very good program.
He just fucked up and didn't do it. That's
Oh, yeah.
what it boils down to. So he needs his extra
But,
time to
I mean-
figure it
And I mean,
It
you just
caters
got out of
to those
doing
people.
12 years of school.
out. Yeah.
He wants a year off. He's like, I'm done with school for a while.
Right.
Which is fine.
It's fine. I honestly don't care as long as, so I actually feel sorry for my children sometimes when they struggle. So I'm watching it and I'm like, are you happy? Are you cool? Like, dude, his whole demeanor has changed in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's been out of the house for 2 weeks and he just is like a whole different person. It's weird. But it's because
Is he
he's been
happy
riddled
or
with
still?
responsibility.
Okay.
He says he's happy.
Good.
Happier than being at home, but I kind of got the feeling he was going to come, like, Dad, can I come back home and go to school? That's kind of what I was waiting for, but it didn't happen. So,
I'm waiting for the dad can I come back home so I don't have to pay rent.
right.
You know, I know he
Right.
lives closer to his job now, so
Yeah, he's saving what he's spending in gas, he's paying in rent, so it equaled
almost a
out.
wash.
Yeah, because that's a long drive. That's
Windsor to LaSalle.
yeah. I was taking him. It's only a half-hour drive, but it's the miles he was spending. He said $80 a week in gas, which times 4, that's half your damn spending money.
Yeah.
So, I get it. Now he's paying rent, same, whatever.
Oh, good deal.
Yeah. I don't hate him. He's cute.
Well, that's good.
That's good.
All right, so we figured out our new alternative program.
Yeah.
Maybe
New
when
high
we're in our
school
50s.
program. What?
Maybe when we're in our 50s.
When we're retired from everything else and
Yeah. Well, dude, 50's 3 years away for me.
oh, is it really? I didn't realize you were that old.
I'm old.
I thought you were like early 40s.
So we keep the walker in the.
Oh.
Shut it.